Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mindful Marketing with MindfulBody Productions. I'm Emilia, holistic marketing strategist, and I'm here to share with you some tips on how you can attract more patients into your practice. So let's get started. If you're watching this video, you might be someone that feels so passionately about supporting the well-being of your patients and people. You probably have accumulated a ton of knowledge and understanding, modalities, practices that you have studied throughout various years and have crafted your unique method. Nonetheless, you might also feel like this unique method and your approach and the success that you can provide people isn't really reaching a wider audience, and you feel stuck. You feel like there's a ceiling, like you don't know how to break through that ceiling so you can finally attract patients into your practice and support people's well-being. So in this video, we're definitely going to cover some practical ways that you can create a seamless patient experience. This is going to help you break through some stagnation with getting more patients and allowing for your practice to grow based on recurring people having successful outcomes from your practice, not only from you, but from the experience that is created from the moment that they contact you or your team to the time that they finish their appointment and need to book a follow-up appointment. This is very important because we want to make sure that it's not just about reaching more people and more people. We also want to make sure that the people that are coming to our practice are consistently coming back. And not only that, they're also becoming advocates of our practice, and they're sharing this with their friend, their spouse, their cousin, their sister, their brother, whoever else that they care about and love. Next, we're also going to be covering the importance of educational content to build trust with your audience. This is a very crucial piece because you want to make sure that when you're positioning yourself online and you're speaking to an online audience, that they can hear you. That way they'll build trust, you'll build credibility with them, and that way the impact will be deeper and they will then make the decision to make the purchase. Unfortunately, the online market is extremely saturated, but nowadays the first place that people look to see if your brand is credible is your social media presence. So that has to be up to par. And if you're someone that's scared to speak on camera, doesn't feel comfortable, trust me, I understand. I've been there. I've been doing this for years and I still feel nervous when I speak on camera from time to time. So there are ways to work around it. You can work with a coach, you can work with a mentor, you can work with someone that can support you through that process. We could certainly do that for you and with you. Or if you know someone locally that can support you with that, certainly there's ways to break through and simply just practicing, low pressure, you'll get through it and you'll be able to make content that resonates with your audience. And lastly, we're going to cover how to generate leads that actually book appointments. And this is the biggest challenge that most of my clients have when they come to work with us. And it's because of several reasons, and we're going to touch on those reasons in this video. So stay tuned until the end because this is a major challenge for most people. I would say 9 out of 10 people that I speak to, this is one of their biggest challenges, and we're going to cover some points in the end of this video. So keep watching, save this video so you can rewatch it. If you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe, as that supports us in helping bring a brighter future into the world by educating and working with practitioners such as yourself. That way we can work together to bridge the gap and more people can find better ways of healing and optimal ways to restore their health. Let's get started with speaking on practical ways to create a seamless patient experience. Firstly, one of the things that I see is generally the practitioner or also the business owner in most cases has a specific set of values, and those values might not be completely in alignment throughout the entire company or the entire staff. So one of the very important things that I always recommend clients is to always have key company values and training your current staff, your new staff on those values so that they're in alignment with that. So for example, if kindness is one of those, you want to make sure that your staff that's picking up the phone, that's answering to people, isn't going to be rude or is going to provide a very soft connection with your new prospects or your new patients. This is very important because most people, they have inconsistent interactions with a brand. So if the brand voice, for example, which is in alignment with the brand values, is not cohesive across all of your channels, for example, you have someone answering messages on Instagram and then someone else answering the phone in your office and then someone else tending to that patient as soon as they come in, if those people aren't in alignment with the values and the brand voice, then there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies, and that kind of throws people off because they might go one time and then they might go the next time and communicate with different staff members and then just not have a satisfactory experience. So across the board, your brand voice and your company values should be in alignment. Next, you want to make sure that you have a certain process in place to be able to follow up with your patients. So for example, someone comes in for the first time, you speak with them, they have a great conversation with you and they feel like you're the practitioner that could help them. They leave through that door, they don't book the second appointment, they don't get contacted to see how they're doing, and that will lose the person's attention because you're a practitioner that might really care to bring people's results. But if the follow-up systems aren't there, then that person might feel unimportant or like their needs might not be met within your facility. And this portion can easily be automated with certain systems. We like to use specific CRM systems with automations and workflows to help us stay connected with our patients, because I understand everybody's busy. Your front desk might be answering the phone all day long and speaking with patients and supporting the rest of the staff and supporting you. So they might not have the bandwidth to really know when to follow up. So having systems in place is very important. And this is something that we could support you in, of course, if you're looking to set up systems to connect with your patients from the moment that they, call to the moment that they schedule their recurring appointment and repeatedly after that. Thirdly, we want to make sure that your patients are being responded to in a very timely manner, whether they're messaging you on Instagram or they're calling your office or they're sending an email. We want to make sure that we're prompt to respond, because a lot of people, they might feel a desperation because they feel ill, they feel off, they feel out of balance, and they just call or leave a message or send a DM through Instagram or Facebook, and nobody responds for days, and that's going to throw that person off and have them lose interest because they're seeking that attention right then and there. One of the things that I see a lot is automations that are set in place to respond to people on Facebook and on Instagram. I do not like automated responses like, hey, thank you for reaching out, please wait 24 hours, because that disconnects you personally from that person. And this is why we have a specific strategy called Lead Hive. And this strategy helps us connect with our audience consistently on a daily basis. But I get it. Who has time to sit there all day on Instagram, responding to messages, liking your patients' photos and commenting to continue supporting them and feeling that support back? Because again, this isn't just about growing your practice with new patients. It's about turning your current patients into raving fans, because the number one method of getting more patients is a referral-based patient. So of course we could do Facebook ads. Of course we could do all of these other things that drive new traffic to your page and to your practice. But then again, the people that are going to trust you the most and pick up the phone immediately is that person that's being referred to by a previous patient that had success with you. So we want to make sure that those people are also being nurtured and they're also feeling seen. So we have specific systems to support us in doing that. I understand it's not ideal for you as the practitioner to be there all day responding to people on the phone. This is why MindfulBody Productions does what we do, is to support you in that so you can grow your practice and not have to think about the mundane tasks of daily messaging, answering calls, and following up. We have systems for that. Next, let's talk about the importance of educational content to build trust. In this digital age, this is the number one way people are going to know you, like you, and then trust you. And if you don't have any content of you speaking or of you speaking about your method and informing people, even if it's a carousel, a video, a graphic post, then people aren't really going to know what you do. And with content, it could be a bit of a tricky thing because I understand you as a practitioner, you know exactly your jargon and the modalities that you practice. You're an expert, right? But people that are coming to you aren't experts. So the way that you need to communicate to them is by relating their pains and their desires. So saying like, I understand that you feel exhausted, and this is how I've helped my patients come out of that exhaustion. And you can explain a little bit on the scientific side, but not going too deeply into the jargon, making sure that it's easy to understand as if you're communicating it to a fourth grader. Continuously posting content on your Facebook page, Instagram page, your blog, your YouTube channel will allow you to maintain and build authority with your audience. So you want to make sure that you're positioned in this way because you will build credibility with new patients and they will feel more trusting in working with you. And what happens a lot of times with patients is, if they do a marketing campaign before working with us and they come to us and say this campaign didn't drive results, we look at their page, we look at their website, we look at their landing pages, we look at their ad creatives, and then we're easily able to see that the way that they're positioned is very confusing because it has too much jargon, it's talking too much about the modalities, and it's not really focusing on the results that are being provided. To really explain this in a way that is tangible for the ideal audience that might not understand or know what the intricacies are of the modality that you're teaching. Some types of content that you can highlight on your social media is before and after photos, testimonials, tips and tricks. You don't want to make all of your content about sales. You also want to make sure that the content is giving you credibility and building trust. That can be done through testimonials, before and afters, building authority, knowledge-based content like tips, and also informative content about the body and the mind and the spirit or whatever topic that you specifically speak about. And then of course you can even highlight your team and the people that work there in your clinic. That way you get a more personable approach to your content. You don't want to put yourself in a pedestal. You also want to share your story, how you got there, be vulnerable, ask patients to do the same if they're open to sharing on camera, of course, and even have your staff just be friendly on camera, sharing, the highlight of the day or, the blooper of the day. This is going to give a more warm connection and build that trust and help the patient feel safe to choosing you as their solution. Lastly, let's talk about how to generate leads that actually book appointments. For this step, we need to take a well-rounded approach. It's not just about turning on Facebook ads and expecting you to get a ton of patients the day after. This is a process and it takes time. There's a lot of competition out there, a lot of people doing ads, a lot of people doing content. So we want to make sure that one, your message is clear, and two, that you're targeting the right people. Companies come to me and they say, well, my ads didn't work. And then we take a look in the back end and we see that they're not leveraging lookalike audiences, specific types of targeting. That's not really optimizing their ads and making their cost per lead way more expensive. So first and foremost, let's talk about optimizing your landing page with calls to action. Like I mentioned in the previous section, you don't want to use a ton of jargon. You want to make sure that your content in the landing page that you're using to capture the leads, it has clear and concise value proposition that allows for the person to understand who you are, what you do, and what you do for them. And of course, you want to make sure you have a clear call to action with what we call an irresistible offer. If you're running ads and you're running traffic to that landing page, you don't want to just give your first offer of $200. You want to build an offer that's irresistible because initially it takes a lot for someone to trust a practitioner, especially if they're coming off of an ad. So you want to make sure that that offer is enough for them to say, yes, let's do it. So it could be a $29 consultation with a package that's significantly reduced just to get them through the door. Once you get people through through the door and they meet you in person and your experience is seamless and your staff is friendly and aligned with your brand voice and your values, and they maybe saw your content on your social media, which allowed them to feel confident about going to your office. Once they come in, that is the golden hour of where they finally get to meet you and feel like, whoa, I resonate with this person. I'm really glad that I'm here. I feel trust, because the majority of rapport that is built is in person, and we can try to do this online all day, every day. Nonetheless, getting the person through the door is the primary goal. So even if you can give away a free consultation and get people through that door, that's a really important part. Secondly, we want to make sure that we have good follow-up systems. As I mentioned in a previous section, setting up automations and having a specific system that allows you to follow up and check in on the patient and be like, hey, I just wanted to check in, see how you were doing. I remember when I got surgery and one of the nurses was on call. I could text her and she was there for me. And of course, you don't need to take that leap, but you want to be able to have a system where patients feel like they can easily contact you. So if you have a cell phone in office and they can just send a text message and then a member of the staff could be there supporting, this could be a really great way to follow up with them, see how they're doing, let them know that you're there if you have any questions, and making them really feel held in their healing process. And this is a huge challenge that most people have, because health is a very delicate thing. And if someone is feeling sick or ill and they're not feeling supported by their doctor or their practitioner, I mean, that's why most people leave conventional methods anyway, is because the conventional way and the conventional approach is very clinical and it's very separated. And like the person may feel like, well, I feel off balance, and the doctor will run the labs and say, well, you're perfectly fine. Or in my case, and in a lot of women's cases, that have, for example, breast implants, they go to their doctor and they say, well, your implants are probably not doing anything. You're totally fine. This is something that's probably in your mind. And now that patient feels like they're not being supported, like they're not feeling held. So you want to make sure that, of course, them making the switch from the conventional route to the holistic route, they are feeling supported along the way. All right. And there you have it, the top 3 tips so that you can attract more patients into your practice and make sure that they stay with you and turn into your fans. So within this video, we covered how to enhance your patient experience with seamless and responsive approach to following up and creating a loyal customer base that promotes you. We also talked about educational content and how to build trust and credibility with your online audience. And then lastly, we spoke about converting leads into patients so that you can have a more compelling offer that allows them to walk through that door and build that initial connection with you. So if you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content on how you can elevate your practice and reach more people to make a greater impact.